When life feels relentlessly hard, there's one thing that's missing that can make it better. When everything feels heavy or hard or serious, and when everything requires so much of your attention and your time, it can be incredibly challenging not to get caught up in those feelings and those emotions. But think about those moments when you completely lost yourself in something. Singing at the top of your lungs, creating something, dancing really badly in the kitchen, playing with your kids. When you were completely lost in the moment and so connected that you weren't thinking about anything else but just fully present in that moment. How amazing was that feeling? How free were you feeling? That feeling is something that you really need. And it's called play. We all need to play. So today that's what we're talking about. How can we spend more time playing, and why playing is not a waste of time, but something you definitely need to make your life easier. Welcome back to the 3-Minute Pause podcast. My name is Maniza, and today we're talking about how play has such a vital role in our lives. We spend so much time in our deeper emotions, in our harder emotions, because they just take up so much airtime, right? If you've got hard things going on, if you're trying to work several jobs, if you're trying to put food on the table and pay school fees and look after your health and your life and manage all of the different competing needs that are being put on you and that pressure, it's hard. It's hard not to feel to fall into that. It's hard not to get caught up in all the different things that are pulling at you. And I don't mean just life circumstances. We also have our emotional landscape. We have our internal landscape. We have the emotional pieces that we're working through. For some people, that's their traumas. For some people, that's their anxieties. For some people, that's their fear of control, their other fears. We're always working through something as people, whether we realize it or not. And letting go in the moment is about coming back to a connection with yourself. Because when you're present in that very moment, and play is one of them. Playing is one of the key moments that bring us back to our bodies and bring us back to ourselves. Then you're in the moment. You're connected to yourself. And that's where you are. So let's just break that down for a second. What is actually happening inside of us when we are connected and in that moment? Well, when you're dancing in the kitchen badly, or singing at the top of your lungs, or painting, or doing whatever it is that brings you joy, when you are playing, what happens is your entire nervous system calms down. Everything that's happening inside of you just completely relaxes and lets go as much as it possibly can, okay? And when I say that, I mean that for some people it can completely let go, and for some people it can let go only 10%. But it doesn't matter. However much it lets go is the key. And so when we're in play, our entire system is relaxing. And when our entire system is relaxing, we are not sitting in the anxieties and the worries and the frustrations and the what ifs, and we're not spiraling into the constant stories and dialogue that's happening in our brains. Our brains are online all the time. And the dialogue, the stories, the chatter, especially for some people, the chatter can take over your whole day. You don't actually have to do anything. You can sit there with the chatter in your mind. And I laugh about it, and I don't mean it in that funny way, but I laugh because, God, we've all been there. I can put my hand up and say, I've been there, where the chatter just takes over. And so what ends up happening is when that chatter takes over, when we get caught up in all of those stories and the narratives, and then playing the game of what if, what if this happens? What if that happens? And it's always negative, right? It's what if it goes wrong? What if it doesn't work out? What if this person doesn't love me? What if they walk away from me? What if they reject me? What if? And nothing good comes out of the what if. And we are then completely out of our bodies, in our brains. And when we're in a cognitive space, all we're doing is listening to our anxieties. We're listening to and trying to get control. That's what we're doing. When you're in your mind, all you can do is try to get control back because you feel out of control. Notice when you're in your body and you are playing and you're singing and you're painting and you're dancing, you don't care what is happening in your mind. You're not listening to stories. You're not listening to Hopefully you're not listening to, how badly you're painting. And if you are, then you're in your brain, you're not in your body. You're just there, you're free, you're connected. And so what's really important is harnessing those moments and harnessing the moments of play, because those are the natural ways we dysregulate. Oh, sorry. Harnessing the moments of play are so important because they are the natural ways in which we regulate. And here's the thing. I know that you probably have a conversation with yourself every time you want to go into play and you pull yourself back, or you put a timer on it, or you say, okay, I'll give it 5 minutes, or you bargain and negotiate with yourself about how much time you're going to give to this playful moment. And all that comes from feeling too much pressure, too much stress, too many things going on. And what you're doing when you're negotiating with that time is trying to fill your entire schedule with the pockets of everything you need to do. So you need to focus on this piece of work. You need to go make that phone call. You need to go cook dinner. You need to put some attention and time to your children. Whatever you have, whatever you've got going on. And then you go, okay, you know what? My kids want to play. Let me go play with them. I'll put a timer on it. I'll play with them for 15 minutes, and then I'll sit and read that book that I promised my colleague I would read, or I'll go and read that article that I promised myself I would do, because of course you're invested in yourself as well. But the only problem with that is that when you're negotiating something that is so vital to your survival. And I know you don't realize it and you don't see it that way, but it's like when you rest, right? You negotiate out of resting. I'm sure you do. A lot of people do. You negotiate yourself out of how resting can be good for you and why you don't need that nap. And okay, I'll take a half an hour nap, not a 45-minute nap. But then when you do nap and you wake up, you feel so good. You feel like you can conquer the world. Your body is calm, your nervous system is calm, your cortisol levels are down, and you just feel like, wow, I really should do this more often. And that's the conversation you're having. I really should do this more often. I really should listen to my body. I should really make it a point every weekend to take a nap. The following weekend comes around and you're not napping. You've filled your schedule with another 20 different things to do because you have to, because you need to. And I'm not questioning those things that you have to and you need to. We all have things we need to do. Adulting is fun in some ways. In some ways, it's very painful. But that's why play is there and it's so important. So there's a few things that happen when you're playing. One is you're staying connected to yourself, which, like I said, is so important. And when we stay connected to ourselves in our bodies, our negative internal voice goes down, our criticism levels go down, our cortisol levels go down. And that's just, that's the things that I'm naming. We're not talking about how your heart rate calms down. We're not talking about how you get a rush of positive hormones and positive energy. There's so many different values that come from play. So you stay really connected to yourself. But what the most other amazing thing that everybody forgets about is that when you're playing, if you are playing or interacting with something or someone else, that connection is enhanced and it's a feedback loop. So if you're playing, let's say with your kids, when you let go and play with them and let go of time and any other constraints that you might have and just show up and be there in that moment, really be there in that moment and play with them, you engage in joy. You become joyful. You find your lighter side. They connect with you. They find their lighter side. And together you create a feedback loop where you are feeding off of their beautiful energy and joy and they're feeding off of yours. So they know when you put a timer, by the way, that you're going to play with them for 15 minutes because they feel the pressure and then they stumble and they fumble and they don't play as well and they don't show up as much or they can't because they feel the pressure. So you're creating that feedback loop. And that feedback loop is saying, hey, I want to be here with you. I want to hang out with you. I love hanging out with you. And they're hearing that and saying back to you, I want to be here too. So let's play. Because when we play, we will both come back into a space where we're both calm and regulating our nervous systems together. Co-regulation. So play facilitates co-regulation in one of the most fundamental, important ways. So parents, co-regulation. Lovers, co-regulation. People in the same household, if you need to regulate your systems, and you most probably do, co-regulation. When you engage in an activity with someone else and you let go, the play creates a feedback loop. So go play with someone, go hang out with someone, go have fun, go and experience the freedom of letting go. Because when you do, you are not only letting go of your stressors, but you're coming into you. You're coming into your true self, not the conditioned self, not the one that has to be responsible and organized and in control. And you come into you. And you get so very few glimpses of that person because you don't hang out with them that often. Well, you don't get to see them that often. So play. It is the easiest way to find and keep connection to you and the people that you love. This week's pause. Yep, it's as obvious as it sounds. This week's pause is to go and play for 3 minutes. Literally go and play for 3 minutes. Whatever it is that you're doing. Whatever it is you find joy, go and do that and come back to yourself. So come and tell me all about it. I would love to hear how conscious, intentional play changed something for you. And remember, 3 minutes really can change everything. Thank you for hanging out with me today. For the pause, show notes, and more, please visit www.manizakimji.com.